Good morning. I'm honored on behalf of my family to present the ADL Daniel Pearl Award. As I do, I'd like to share a few remarks about Danny and the purpose of the award. Danny and I were friends since childhood. Danny had a gentle manner, he was super smart, but he was low-key about it. He was funny and had an infectious laugh. It seemed like he always had a smile on his face. As a journalist, Danny told the stories of the neglected and the misunderstood. Danny did this successfully and was widely admired by his peers and readers, no doubt because of his essential gentleness, intelligence, and curiosity, and because of his love for others. These qualities were in Danny's DNA, shaped, no doubt, by his Jewish upbringing, and when they were first present when we first met in grade school. These qualities made Danny what he was, a humanist. After Danny's untimely and brutal death, my family established the award to honor his memory. We also sought to encourage and recognize efforts by other humanists to promote mutual understanding, appreciation, and respect in Islamic and Jewish communities for each other's shared values and differences. In keeping with Danny's journalistic mission, we resolved to honor those individuals and organizations who find the courage to cross parochial and cultural divides, to report on often misperceived and sometimes completely unknown communities in the effort to demystify Jews to Muslims and vice versa. And it is with these values in mind that I'm thrilled to introduce the 2025 Daniel Pearl Award recipient, Farah Pandith. Farah is a pioneer in the field of countering violent extremism. A foreign policy strategist and frequent media commentator, she advises government, business, and civil society on this topic. Among her storied career highlights, she was appointed the first ever special representative to the Muslim communities by Secretary of State Hillary Rodham Clinton, and served additional appointments in the George W. and H.W. Bush administrations. And until recently, Farah served as a senior advisor here at ADL, focused on our community engagement and partnership efforts. She has served on the leadership or advisory boards of many organizations across fields over the years, including the Asian American Foundation, the Center on Public Democracy at the University of Southern California, the Tribeca Film Institute, and the Women in Public Service Project. And in 2020, the Muhammad Ali Center named Pandith the first ever Muhammad Ali Global Peace Laureate, and has since been the creator and catalyst of the Center's Index on Compassion, a groundbreaking study released in January on compassion in the United States, meant to empower local officials and the public to champion more inclusive, compassionate communities. Farah embodies the values of the dignity and respect. As a former member of the ADL staff, as a friend, and as part of our community, we are proud to recognize her today. Please join me in welcoming the 2025 Daniel Pearl Award recipient, Farah Pandith. Now, normally at this point, I would have some sort of token of the award to present, but I'm going to do my best Carol Merrill and just do this because unfortunately the award got caught in the mail or some logistical problem. So it will go on your shelf, no doubt, and you'll receive it soon.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
Oh, there we go. Put it in the back.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Enjoy.
All right, thank you. I'm sorry.
Good morning, everyone. Everyone's had a bagel.
Yes, I can see that. That's great.
Everyone sounds caffeinated. Can I just ask everyone in the room to please join me in congratulating Farah one more time on this really prestigious award. Full disclosure, it's an honor to be up here with a friend and a colleague and someone who I've worked with and conspired with on a host of public service projects for the better part of 2 decades. So it's really a pleasure to be here. For those of you that I may not know in this room, my name is George Selim. I'm the Executive Vice President of ADL, and I just want to facilitate a couple questions with Farah to help guide us through what this award means, not just to Richard, his family, but to the entire ADL community. So Farah, let me just start with, you were nominated, you've been selected for this honor. What does this mean for you?
Well, clearly I am deeply humbled and very honored. His legacy is something that means quite a lot to me for many reasons. One, he worked on international terrorism, which is a field that you and I began our work together in the George Bush administration right after 9/11. So I understand the complexity of what he was trying to do to get to fact and truth, to be in the region. He was a field reporter. That was very, very important for me as I absorbed the honor. But secondly, how incredible is it at this moment in time, George, to have an opportunity to talk about building bridges with others. And so for me, this is truly humbling, and I want to thank you so much for this honor.
Of course. As Richard shared, you've had quite a career spanning administrations, spanning political parties, and part of that work, as I think Jonathan alluded to in his opening remark, he kind of he used this phrase, our community. Yeah. And I know that when he references that and when anyone on the ADL team references our community, that's not just the American Jewish community, but that's any individual, any organization, any person that stands up to condemn anti-Semitism, bias, and bigotry, and speak out on anti-Jewish hate. You've been a part of that body of work. How did that work that you've done prior lead you to being a part of the ADL team and helping be part of this fight?
Well, I've known Jonathan since the Obama administration, and for those of us who do know Jonathan, he is an out-of-the-box thinker. He is creative. He's an entrepreneur. When I got a call from him asking him to consider coming to ADL, I didn't wait a second. The only thing I said to him was how incredibly inspiring it is to see the CEO of ADL reach out to a very well-known American Muslim who has been doing this work. And I said, are you ready for this? Because it's not normal. It's not the normal thing you would imagine. He imagines things in a different way. It was an absolute honor to be part of the team. I have many colleagues in the audience who I feel so fortunate to have been able to work with closely. But for me, the ADL, the last 2 years being at ADL has not only taught me a great deal, but it's inspired me to do even more. Jonathan spoke this morning about this fire that has taken over with regard to anti-Semitism. It is outrageous that in 2025, that we are talking about this issue the way we are. It is heartbreaking, but it is also vital that we understand that allies mean those of us who not only have to fight hate of all kinds, but to understand what is happening in this country to American Jews. And I feel very, very proud to have been part of the ADL.
Great. Yeah. Let's pull the thread and kind of bring everyone in the room a bit deeper into the body of work that I am firsthand familiar with, but not everyone here is familiar with. For context, you heard Richard announce Farah as the former special representative to Muslim communities across the globe. She was appointed to this role by former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. Concurrently, Farah did some pioneering and innovation and entrepreneurship of her own while at C Street, while at the State Department, in really a first-of-its-kind partnership with the former Special Representative to monitor and combat anti-Semitism, Hannah Rosenthal. Can you help bring this room into the fold of what some of the work that you and Hannah did, how that partnership between the Special Envoy to both Muslim communities and to monitor and combat anti-Semitism, how you came together and some of the work you all led?
Secretary Clinton did so much for me in terms of allowing me to see the world. I traveled to nearly 100 countries as special representative to Muslim communities. But one of the things that is most meaningful to me is her gift of letting me meet Hannah Rosenthal. The State Department is very big. It's very bureaucratic, as you all know. It is not, you might think it is normal that the special representative to Muslim communities would in fact naturally align with and work with the envoy to combat and monitor anti-Semitism. While we were colleagues, we did not have a common remit. When there was a bomb in Times Square, you will remember, George, you were in government, I got a call from Hannah's office, and my assistant said to me, the special envoy needs to come up and see you immediately. And I knew Hannah kind of I had met her, but I didn't know her very well. And so I was like, what is going on? And she came into my office, she sat down on the couch, and she said, this thing has happened in Times Square. I want to be your ally. Let me, the Jew, talk about defending Islam and Muslims, because the person that is speaking matters. And I was blown away. I mean, I had been working in government for a long time. It is not common to see that kind of thing. That is Hannah Rosenthal right there. So I tell you that because it is, we were friendly, and we plotted on various things. But at some point during the Obama administration, there was a very big conference in Astana, Kazakhstan, and we were supposed to represent the United States. And so there was a statement on anti-Semitism that the special envoy to combat and monitor anti-Semitism was supposed to say. There was a comment about anti-Muslim hate that I was supposed to talk about. George, because Hannah is Hannah, the night before we're in Astana, she comes over to me and she says, I have this weird idea. And when Hannah says that, you gotta worry a little bit. I said, Hannah, there was a twinkle in her eye, and she said, let's switch speeches. And I said, what do you mean? Because the State Department, you need to clear things. You clear and you clear and you clear. And she said, we don't need clearance. We're gonna switch. And so the next day—
So you spoke about anti-Semitism.
On the panel, when they asked the person to talk about anti-Semitism, I stood up. And I gave the American comments. Hannah did the same thing on anti-Muslim hate. We ended with the same line: hate is hate, no matter who the victim is. For me, George, yes. Hannah's inspiration led to us asking ourselves what we could do to use that momentum. And we launched in 2012, actually 2011, a campaign to ask young people to volunteer an hour or more of their time for someone who doesn't look like them, live like them, pray like them, or live like them, because the messenger matters. And so this Hours Against Hate campaign was so successful that the London Olympics took hold of it in 2012, and the London Paralympics took it as well. That was one of our best things that we did together. But George, at the core, it's what Jonathan said, it's what Richard just said, the messenger matters. And so for me, the partnership and the friendship with Hannah has been not only special, but it has motivated people to do things for someone who doesn't look like them, live like them, pray like them, or love like them.
Amazing. So speaking of motivation, as we think about how to send this audience out with an inspiring point, how would you like to share with this group of people today what this award means for you, and more importantly, what you want them to carry out of this room?
I'd like to go back to what was said about Danny Pearl. This is a field reporter who spent his career trying to understand different cultures with respect. He reached out, he put himself on the line to put his hand out, to listen, to learn how to communicate so that he could hear things in a new way. Truth matters. In today's world where, here in this country, democracy and truth are being moved around, truth is not malleable. Truth is not malleable. And we have to stand up for truth and democracy, and we have to do what Danny Pearl did, which is learn how to engage with respect and with dignity. That's what I hope we remember.
I don't know if it's possible to end on a more inspiring note, so please join me again in thanking Farah. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
Congratulations.